support the motion say aye, and those who are against the motion say nay. The ayes have it.
Hello and welcome to the program. I am Dennis Adigunloye. We are about 2 weeks away now till the resumption of plenary at the 10th National Assembly. For now, we'll maintain focus on current and former legislators and their perspectives on major national issues. And it was good and expected news that the Presidential Election Petition Court would find in favor of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and so it proved. The decision also came at a time when Mr. President marked his first 100 days in office, and it's on this point that some lawmakers give their views. Let's begin with Senator representing Borno North, Mohammed Tahir Mongonu.
100 days in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What are your general assessments so far?
Well, my general assessment of the 100 days of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is that it's an eventful 100 days. It's 100 days that is punctuated with programs that has positively impacted on the lives of Nigerians. It's 100 days of carrying the people along in all the programs and activities that the government has executed so far. So the government deserves a pat on the back for the achievements that it has succeeded in recording within the short period of 100 days. Like, for example, the removal of the petroleum subsidy that has constituted an albatross in the neck of the Nigerian economy, an albatross that has constituted a cock in the wheel of our developmental aspirations against the backdrop of the huge amount of resources that goes into the subsidy that at the end of the day we succeeded in subsidizing neighboring countries and very few cabal of Nigerians to the detriment of the generality of Nigerians. Definitely the removal of the subsidy came with unleashing a lot of hardship on the lives of Nigerians, with all its attendant and concomitant rise in the price of goods and services, thereby reducing the standard of living of Nigerians and what have you. But in order to cushion that effect, the Bola Tinubu administration, in consonance with the renewed hope agenda of the government, has come up with palliatives with a view to cushioning the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy. And then the government went further to give 5 billion naira to each and every state in the federation, including FCT, for the various sub-nationals to go about bringing succor to the lives of Nigerians with a view to ameliorating the hardship that was unleashed as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy. And then the government also, having appointed its cabinet, members of the cabinet have already kicked the ground running with a view to actualizing the mandate of their various ministries, departments and agencies in tandem with the renewed hope agenda of the government. And for example, the creation of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is very novel in view of the fact that no nation can afford to relegate to the background the potentials in its marine industry, because if it is fully harnessed, the potential that if it is fully harnessed, it will go a long way, not only in terms of diversification of our economy away from oil, but also it will bring about the much needed foreign exchange for deployment to our much needed infrastructure needs, and also creating avenues for employment for our teeming unemployed youths, with all its advantage of curbing insecurity in the country. So it's an eventful 100 days that is punctuated with a lot of developmental strides that is aimed at positively impacting on the lives of Nigerians in consonance with the renewed hope agenda of the administration.
Okay, you were part of the screening process of the now 45 ministers who were then obviously nominees. Just tell us how you found the experience of screening and the whole process.
Well, the process of screening the ministers is an experience that is very, very captivating and exhilarating, in the sense that we have to sit from morning, sometimes up to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening, trying to screen these ministers, and also go into the nitty-gritty of their resume, ask them various questions, and then ask them on all some endeavors of national life that we think, in our opinion, if they are confirmed, the president may in his wisdom deploy them to such a sector. We ask them questions on those sectors to see whether, if they are eventually, peradventure, if Mr. President force them to that sector, there will be a square peg in a square hole, so that they can deliver on the mandate of whatever assignment they may have been posted to discharge on behalf of Mr. President. So it's a very wonderful experience. It's an educative experience, and it also afforded us the opportunity of robust interaction between us and the nominees, cross-fertilization of ideas, and in the process our horizon has been broadened, and then the same thing, mutatis mutandis, the same applies to the nominees in the process of screening them. So it's a very educative experience, and it's also an interactive experience whereby we had an opportunity of cross-fertilizing ideas between the senators and the nominees with a view to moving the Nigerian agenda forward.
And then talking about this issue or this tradition of bow and go for certain notable nominees at that time, what can you tell us about this tradition?
Well, the tradition of bow and go is only restricted to either serving senators or members of the House of Reps, or former senators and members of the House of Reps. These are the only categories of people to whom that privilege was extended to. All other nominees were subjected to questions, were subjected to various engagement as to how they are going to run the affairs of the ministry or department or agency that they may be assigned to when they are eventually confirmed. So this is a privilege that is only extended to members of parliament that are serving, or former members of parliament.
Some have argued that that privilege might be something that should be expunged? No longer?
No, it will not be expunged because these are best traditions and conventions and practices that were in practice in other climes. So it was done in consonance with the best international practice that is as it is obtainable in other jurisdictions. So it is not something that is restricted to Nigeria alone. These are best practices, best conventions that are equally applicable in parliament of other climes.
All right. Now we have the ministers in place. You're aware of how the 8th National Assembly was perceived to be combative to the executive at that time. The 9th, conversely, was regarded as rubber stamp. What kind of executive legislative relations are you expecting now we have the 4 ministers in place?
Yeah, now that the ministries are fully in place and committees of the National Assembly have been constituted, I think there is going to be very robust oversight of the various ministries and departments and agencies to see whether their approaches and modus operandi are in tandem with the extant laws that establish them, other relevant laws of the country, and of course the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is the grand norm of the land. And then with regard to the issue of the relationship between the executive and the legislature, I think the 10th Senate and indeed the 9th National Assembly as a whole will pursue a relationship that is mutually symbiotic relationship, in the sense that both the executive and the legislative arm of government have one primary objective, and that primary objective is the delivery of dividends of democracy to the doorsteps of the people. So in the process of executing that mandate, there is a need for the executive and the legislature to cross-pollinate ideas, to compare notes, so that at the end of the day, whatever laws or programs that are being executed should be in tandem with the wishes and aspirations of the people, should be a replica of the yearnings and aspirations of the people of the country, because our primary objective is to serve the people. And then in the process of that, the legislature will be mindful of its independence and its powers as per Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, of making laws for the peace, order and good governance of the country. And I assure you that we are going to not only jealously but fiercely guard and protect those powers. Any encroachment or perceived encroachment upon those powers of the National Assembly as enshrined in the Constitution, either as a result of executive arrogance or executive recklessness, will be fiercely and jealously resisted by the legislature. That much I assure you. But without compromising the need for a symbiotic relationship that is going to bring dividends of democracy to the doorsteps of the people.
Nigeria is in the history. We now have a politician as a leader of this country. We passed off President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. When he came in, he met a lot of challenges on the ground, particularly the major issue, which is subsidy First thing he announced when he reached the office is subsidy removal. The whole country, everybody's crying, shouting, there are sufferings here and there. We believe the sufferings of today is going to be joys of tomorrow. A lot of things have gone wrong in this country, particularly in respect to the issue of the subsidy, where the Abujas continue to enrich themselves and the poor continue to be poor. So on that note, that all of us, particularly the members of the National Assembly, we are saying that we've started very well. We know it's going to be harsh, but it's going to be good for this country. 100 days of President Tinubu and the office is well utilized to rearrange, to strategize the activities of this country. And following all the processes, as you can see, it's on heat with the support of the National Assembly, the leadership of 2 chambers, but everybody is working around the clock. You can see also the members of the National Assemblies are working on other committees who are looking into issues that cause delays in the economic process of this country. As you can see, between these 100 days, we have to arrange a lot of things. See the young people that are coming as ministers, be it the Minister of FCT, Interior, Education, otherwise. They have to get the best from the country while occupying the positions of the leadership of this country. With that, we can say thank you to President Tinubu and his team members, particularly the members of the National Assembly, who I hope are doing to make sure that the economy of this country move forward.
Definitely. All right, just talk to us about the issue of the palliatives and how everything is being worked out and the distribution and all the rest of it. So are you satisfied with how things are going?
Yes, okay. You know, it's a blueprint as a party, All Progress Congress, as APC. That's what we intend to do and that's what we are doing. But I was, as a member of a National Assembly, we advised the Executive Council to whatever they do in the carry us along so that we have a oversight functions of how these palliatives are distributed. When you talk of the government that are very closer to people, you should count the members of the National Assembly. Look at the Senate, they have about 3 local governments, 5, some have 5 local governments, some have more than 5. The assembly members, some have 3, some have 4 local governments. So we are very closer to people. We should also be allowed to have an oversight of how those activities are going on. Presently, you heard that the state governors are one of the chief distributors of palliative. So I advise the State Council to also look into how it goes with agencies like NEMA or humanitarian agencies, other agencies that are taking care of distributions of emergency reliefs in this country. So they can be part of a palliative distribution. So I call on NGOs and other organizations to look into it so that we'll have a judicious distribution of the palliative. Because when we say palliative, it's not that to give people, give person food only. Also to empower people how to grow their own.
Okay. Obviously, before the Senate in particular went on recess, they confirmed 45 of 48 ministerial, as it were, then nominees. Now we have 45 ministers. Just give us your general assessment of the caliber of ministers that we now have in place.
I don't need to say anything. As a member of the National Assembly, I'm also like other Nigerians. Yeah. While our senior brothers in the Senate review activities of everybody and everybody see it, how the exercise is taking place, showing life. Particularly a common person that is in my ward saw how the process was. And they said they saw the caliber of people that the APC present as member of City Executive Council. Majority of us are satisfied with the process. Be it either other person are not clear or not, are part of security checks and other things. When they came to the National Assembly, they allowed them to express their views. And the questions were administered to them. And their CVs were looking into. So, and with this arrangement, we all know that we are coming with the best materials that can stand and move forward the economy of this country. Because if you look at what happened in the past since 1999 to date, if you look at the type of ministers that are appointed to into the state federal executive council, you see that this is differ a little bit, where the young guys with the potentials are able to manage the process. So with this, we're expecting to get the best, and the process is open and it's well criticized. So like either the president come to impose on us, they put the checks and balances before they clear the ministers.
And here is a political activist who represented Kaduna Central in the 8th National Assembly. He is Senator Shehu Sani.
Last time we spoke, you made mention of what at that time the incoming president would do about subsidy. Now we all know what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done. Just give us your thoughts on subsidy removal and going forward. What are your expectations?
Thank you for having me in your program. Well, for the last 40 years, there were attempts by previous governments to remove the petroleum subsidy. But there have always been resistance, fear, and uncertainty of what may likely happen if the subsidy were removed. Many governments in the past were discouraged from removing subsidy out of the fear of what may likely happen. Either social uprising, revolution, or the rising cost of living. Now, in the last 40 years also, we have been paying subsidies. It used to be, in the 80s, it used to be in millions. Then it rose to billions, then hundreds of billions, then now it reached a trillion. And it also peaked to a point where we have to borrow to subsidize. Now, this government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken a bold and courageous step in terms of bringing that to an end. Well, for those of us from the activism side, we have been in the forefront of campaign for subsidy for over 4 decades. I have personally led protests and demonstrations, and I have also participated in many protests and demonstrations over the years. But now we come to a point of asking ourselves, can't we do things differently? Why should an oil-producing and oil-exporting country like Nigeria continue to suffer for a natural resources it is endowed with and that still flourishes in its land? Why can't we get back our refineries in order so that at least we end this subsidy regime mantra? And now, that is the thinking now. Well, it is a bold move to remove subsidy. But what the government ought to have done is to anticipate or forecast the crisis that will attend the removal of subsidy. Measures could have been put in place in terms of cushioning the effects, the palliatives, providing transport facilities, and also helping farmers. That is, if you divide it into long-term and short-term measures. But that was not done. So it was almost after the subsidy was removed, then the thought of what should we do came into place. So that is where we found ourselves where we are today. But it is a good move that will save our economy that has been highly strangulated by debt, and also provide enough resources that we can invest in agriculture, education, health, and infrastructure. So for now, I can say that the measure is in the right direction. Government, as much as it removes subsidy, the first thing is let people see the proceeds of subsidy applied to the betterment of their lives. And also, there should be measures to curtail and reduce poverty, unemployment, and social misery. By that, it will help the process and stem any social uprising and discontent that may follow as far as we are concerned as a country.
Well, that concludes this episode of the program. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis at Dignloye. See you next time.